Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lyndon Wood and I've been in business 35 years. I study economics as fun and I'm an investor, sold my company to private equity 4 years ago, blah, 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 blah. That's the ego trip done. So what happens if 10% of UK billionaires leave the country due to a wealth tax? I'm going to run through some facts and figures for you so that you do understand and that you don't just paraphrase headlines or become a populist. So today we're going to talk through what politicians never really say out loud, but they know. What actually happens if just 10% of UK billionaires leave? There's 156 billionaires in the UK, so let's say 16 billionaires leave and things all backfire, because that's where the numbers lead. So if 10% leave, most people say, who cares? They're rich. Let them go. They don't pay taxes anyway. This is just uneducated people. They've not looked at the numbers. They've not looked at the facts. And of course, they've not looked at the 12 out of 15 countries where it has failed. And it only succeeds in somewhere like Switzerland because other taxes are low. They just don't understand the economy and how it works. So the knock-on effect is when billionaires leave, they don't always take the company with them, but they do tend to take headquarters, HQs. They take investment, they take R&D, they take future hiring, it's a brain drain, they take their teams that create value. All of this goes. A conservative, realistic model also puts around 50 to 80,000 jobs at risk. Bear in mind, this is just 10% of UK billionaires, 16 families or people. The reality is lots of millionaires and multimillionaires also leave. If 16 billionaires leave, you can guarantee there'll be hundreds or even thousands of millionaires will be leaving. So I'm going to base it on 50,000 jobs, not the 80. Let's be conservative. Let's do it on the 50,000 jobs and the actual cost to the UK tax system. The average salary is £35,000 a year. I believe should be more. How the hell anyone survives on 35 grand a year with the current inflation and living costs increase, I have no idea. But anyway, the tax plus national insurance on that income is around £10,000 or £10,600 per worker per year. Multiply that by 50,000 jobs and what are we into? £530 million a year immediately lost in PAYN national insurance alone. But that's only the first layer. When someone loses a job or hiring freezes, the hidden taxes vanish too. So VAT disappears because people stop spending. As an example, that's another 250 to 300 million pounds lost. Corporation tax falls when companies shrink or move head offices, profit centers abroad. Corporation tax falls. That wipes out another 100 to 200 million. Supply chain job losses create even more tax damage. So these are the companies that the larger businesses buy off. So the supply chain. When one job dies, half a job dies elsewhere. That's another 200 to 400 million gone. Pounds from the economy. Then there's stamp duty, business rates, of course, capital gains tax we've mentioned, dividend tax, investment taxes, charitable giving, and of course, local spending. All of this shrinks. It's not just about income tax loss. It's the knock-on effect, which is far, far greater. Put it together, and the total annual hit from those 50,000 job losses is roughly 1.1 to 1.5 billion pounds every single year. That's just the job losses. And that's based on 50,000, not 80,000 jobs. Maybe more, maybe slightly less, who knows. And this is before we talk about the personal taxes of the billionaires themselves. Here's what people forget. The top 1% of earners pay 30% of all income tax in the UK. I'm sure you've seen this around elsewhere. The top 10% pay over 60% of the taxes. Now, to be in the top 10%, I believe it's 100,000 plus salary. Billionaires sit inside the top 0.01%, so in the top 1%. Based on Treasury modelling and global comparisons, all UK billionaires together contributed between 5.6 and 14 billion pounds a year in income tax, capital gains tax and other personal taxes. So it's a staggering amount. So if 10% leave the UK, that's about 560 million to 1.4 billion pounds a year instantly. Add that to the job loss impact and the real national loss becomes between 7 and 15 billion pounds every single year lost from tax. So This is not an option. It's really not an option. It's not an opinion either. This is based on facts. Because every country discovered the same economic reality when they tried a wealth tax. Wealth is mobile, it leaves, jobs disappear permanently, very rarely do they come back. Investment collapses because these billionaires and multimillionaires invest in other businesses, startups, etc. Total tax revenue falls. We've seen it with France in particular. I think they lost €5 billion trying to install a wealth tax. Middle class ends up paying more to fill the gap. So, of course, the country becomes poorer, not richer. And politicians always overestimate how much a wealth tax will bring in. They underestimate how fast wealthy people can leave. So where you see UK estimates saying, oh, it'll bring in another £20 billion, it's absolute total bullshit, horseshit. And I get a bit angry by it because I hate these lies being fed to people. The reality is it would make a loss, not a gain. And that will make you poorer. This is just simple mathematics. This is what happens when the people who fund the system decide the system no longer welcomes them. And if this sounds theoretical, then look at the real world proof. Country after country has tried wealth taxes, and almost every one of them has abandoned them because they failed. France introduced a wealth tax. They lost billions. We've had Denmark. We've had Austria, we've had Italy, Finland, Iceland. They all scrapped it, failed miserably, economically suffered. Any additional tax never gets down to the people. That's another truth. It just gets swallowed up in wars and paying off debt or something. So a tiny fraction of people fund the entire machine, and when they leave, the machine slows down. Because if you punish success and you punish the entire country. This isn't emotion, it's not an ideology, this is probability, logic and historical fact. And these are the things you have to remember, that if you run with the headlines and the bullshit of what you're fed, and you don't question it critically or do some basic research, it takes you 10 minutes, and you just pump in that headline, then you are heading for a disaster, economically, as a country and as an individual and as your family. You will suffer financially. So a wealth tax does not work. It's proven to be so, unless other taxes are extremely low, like in Switzerland. They're just not worth having. They're not worth doing. We are better off, far better off, encouraging wealth, making everyone equally richer, not equally poorer, and thriving as individuals. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please give me a subscribe. It gives my morale a little boost and encourages me to make more. But you don't have to if you don't want to. I just like sharing. Thank you very much. Until the next time, out.